Welcome to the Millennial Method podcast, where I dive into the personal stories of millennials that have decided to chase their dreams, overcome challenges, and redefine success in this pivotal era. I'm your host, Marky, and my guest for today is Miles Caliboso. He is a photographer, videographer, producer, director, just an overall talented guy. Really good friend of mine. He's done a lot of work in the event space, fashion, very amazing portrait photographer. He's worked with brands, just like I said, probably one of the most talented people that I know. And we talk a lot about his experience working in the fashion world, which I know there's a lot of ambitious photographers that I want to get in there. And he kind of gives me his take on how to enter the industry, how to connect with people, and ultimately do work that is for yourself and that is fun, but at the same time professional. He has really good perspective on that. We also talk about the event space and how community is his cornerstone to everything that he does. It's a good reminder for all of us that while creative work is very personal, it's even more important to connect with your creative community. And he has taken advantage of that to the fullest. He's, he's worked with some of the biggest names in fashion. And he has found mentorship through these people, through creative collectives and just different creative communities that he has formed in his career. And he definitely reminds me to go out sometimes because I find myself in the studio all the time. And I need to remind myself that there's, you got to connect with other people out there. And so this podcast was a great reminder of that. And this podcast is a little different because, again, like I said, Miles is a really good friend of mine, and we kind of just screw around in the beginning, and probably my longest episode to date, but it was probably one of my funnest. It's just being able to catch up with Miles because it's been a while since we have. And so Miles, I appreciate you hopping on, brother. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. Here is Miles Caliboso. And we're live. My brother Miles, what's up, man?
Nothing much, dude. I'm good.
You doing well?
I'm doing well, dude. Yeah, I'm doing well. Had a very chill day, so it's a good time.
What'd you do today?
I thought I had a shoot tomorrow, but then it got pushed to the next day. So today I just did like a good amount of prep, and then prepped for this. Meditated.
Oh, yeah, like that. I'm all about that. Got to clear the mind.
Some body rolls. Yeah,
Ooh.
ocho, dude. I don't know.
I don't think my audience knows what the ocho is. You got to explain that.
Dude, so the ocho is a run the clip.
Run the clip. Okay, it's going up.
Excellent, dude. See?
Explained perfectly.
Yeah, man. It's a visual thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that clip because Miles didn't have to explain anything. That should tell you everything.
Imagine if you just had 0 clips, bro. That's great.
I know, it's just a big ass pause, right? Yeah. Everyone use your imagination. Come on. We got Google. Come on, we good. Oh, my dude. We got Mr.
Doing,
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm glad I get to have you on, get to talk all things creative stuffs, got a lot to catch up on. I think you're one of the most talented Filipino dudes that I know. And so, excited to dive in here.
Too kind, man.
Too kind? I think you're too kind. Come on now. I know you didn't say anything, but I think you're too kind.
No, I'm not kind at all.
We'll have to dig into what that means.
Yeah. I have stories for that.
Okay. Well, I want to introduce you to my audience, even just a little bit, but you are a photographer, videographer, producer, director, Dito Miles. Who are you exactly?
I am Miles Caliboso. I like taking photos. I like observing, and I like movement and characters. So trying to figure out how to combine all of them. And recently I've been doing that through photography, I guess, and dance and just hanging out with people.
Ooh, community, man. Easy peasy. And we're about to get all into it. We'll get it all into that. But first of all, we got to talk about you moving to SoCal because you were a NorCal boy.
Yes.
When was this? I
Yes.
don't even like. I kind of knew you moved to SoCal, but not really. Like
So,
when did you move?
so it is October. Next month is going to be my 1 year. The Complex Con is kind of like my marker or like my bookmark.
Whoa, it's been almost a year already.
Yeah, man. Legit, I didn't really tell anybody. And when
Yeah.
I told people, I think I told you guys like 2 days before, or when I was already in the process of my move. You know what I'm saying? Like
I was
one of
like,
those.
wait, I swear Miles is here. What do you mean he's in SoCal?
Yeah. What's funny is that the homie David,
Shout out to David, first
right?
guest on the pod.
He was like complimenting or commenting on my stories. And he was just
hmm
like, hey, dude, are you in LA? Do you live there now? You're gonna let us know when you live there, right? Or when you're gonna move, right? I was like, yeah, dude, of course. I would tell you guys, or I would tell you guys. And
Yeah.
then I don't think I ever told them until like I already moved. I mean,
Classic
yeah,
Miles.
is it?
I don't know. Is it? You tell me.
Yeah, but yeah. So like I moved out here
Why did you decide to move to SoCal?
for the past like 2 to 3 years now. I've kind of been going back and forth between the Bay Area, which is home, and then LA for some work. Luckily, I've been able to connect with some of the community during that time, trying to figure out like if this is a community I would love to be a part of, which it is, and also the differences between the Bay Area in terms of production of photography and the fashion scene versus the scene out here in Southern California. Also, I'm not in LA proper, just to
Just to clarify.
just to clarify. I'm in San Gabriel Valley, but all my work is out in LA. So yeah,
Got it. Just to be clear, I'm not in LA. All right, so
dude, somebody already was just like, "Hey, man, you need to
you
make
tell the
sure that
people.
you clarify." Yeah, I'm just like, "Okay, I'm sorry, dude. I haven't even really said that I'm in LA proper. I'm just like, I'm near LA."
Well, let me get your take. Is it like, well, I'm not sure how true this is, but do people actually get offended when when you say you're in LA but you're not actually in LA? Or is that not really a thing?
I don't think it's like offensive. I think it's mainly just like people just asking
Assume.
for like clarification. Like the same way like out in the Bay, right? They're just like, oh, I live in San Francisco. Do you live in San Francisco or are you in the peninsula? You kind of just get deeper
Okay,
because
yeah, it's like a clarification.
us out there in the Bay, we understand the little like nooks, communities, and pockets. You understand where you can understand personalities based off, hey, you're based out in San Jose versus Sunnyvale or Cupertino. There are
hmm
different upbringings that happen naturally because of the surroundings and the community. And yeah, I don't think it's offensive, or I don't think people are taking offense. It's just like, hey, man, like, let me know where you're at, dude.
Yeah, yeah, because
Unless they're trying to like hella check you. But take that.
I know. I feel like the people who think that way too. It's like so shallow. It's like, why you gotta get offended, man? I'm just from SoCal.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I think all of my experiences out here since I've moved, I've been very grateful for the LA community that have kind of brought me on and like
Mm.
taken me into their circles. Otherwise, I mean, I love the Bay Area and I love San Jose. I think I didn't realize how much of a community and how much of a community I had out there until I moved down. But I've been welcomed with like open arms out here, and
How do you
I'm very
describe
blessed and grateful.
how do you describe NorCal versus SoCal communities? Are there differences? Are there similarities?
I think with my experience, there are a lot of similarities in terms of people want to help each other out. People want to see people grow. I mean, before I moved here, I felt like there was like a certain stigma
Mm.
where I think I was saying that like the Bay Area and LA, the community really wants to help each other out, right? The main difference is that I've been noticing is the amount of saturation of creatives out here in Southern California. This is also like an internal conversation that I've had with myself of like, should I be seeing that saturation as competition or should I be seeing it as like, hey, they're doing their thing, they're doing great. We all have enough like clients in that sense. Like we just got to be doing doing our work and doing the best that we can at
This is the
whatever
SoCal scene?
project we're on. This is like SoCal scene, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is what I've like been noticing before I moved down here.
Oh, I
I'd
see.
say,
Okay.
yeah, like I think I would say like these are like probably like the internal conversations that I've been having, of like, hey, do I like the LA community? Who am I being connected with? Versus, and comparing that with the community out in the Bay Area and those different personalities. And I think there are a lot of positive similarities between the two, at least within like the communities that I'm a part of, with like streetwear
Yeah.
and the creative world and entrepreneurship. A lot of us are, even though there's a lot of us out here in SoCal, there's a whole lot of support, a whole lot of like, hey, I'm growing in here. How can I put my friend's name in the same room?
Mm.
How can I attach like my friend into like this event that I'm producing? Or let me just bring them on and then have them come through as a guest, introduce them to some people. Cool. Let's all be friends. And then let's all make something great as friends while also making some money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, dude. That's dope.
yeah. And I've noticed the same thing in terms of like the Bay Area, where our collaborations up in the Bay Area are very much like, hey, not only are you great, and I'm not saying that if you were not great at your craft, we wouldn't be collaborating, but your personality is amazing. I just want to be your friend. Let's do this project together because we're both passionate friends type thing.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that makes
Some
sense.
homie vibes.
You
No, I
know?
got you. No,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like I mean, you're a community guy, and we'll talk about community later in this conversation. I asked Johnny the same question, so I'm curious on your answer for this too. And do you feel like moving to SoCal has helped your career?
100%. Yeah. I think it was the right time for me to move down here for sure. Not saying that there weren't other things that I could learn and take from up in the Bay Area, but with the journey that I want to be a part of right now, SoCal has certain resources that I feel can act as catalysts to kind of growing and exploring my curiosity when it comes to like photography, fashion, or just production in general, storytelling, you know? Yeah, I think it was a good move. What was your question again?
Did did moving to SoCal help your career? Sounds like you said
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to double check and make sure I was answering your question.
I think we had too much beer earlier, bro. I had a couple shots myself. I'm just kidding.
Oh, did you? I
No, I
did
didn't.
not.
I should have though. That would have been the move.
We could do that when you say we can.
Okay.
And then
Okay. Okay.
I'll move and
We'll do
get
this in
like
person.
something
It's a lot
other
more
than
fun.
water. Yeah. No, it's the nerves, dude. I
Yeah,
told you the
man.
nerves.
It's different,
Yeah,
right?
it
I know
is.
you're always behind the camera. Now you're in the front.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I do feel like the move helped my career, and well, I think the move helped answer a lot of like personal questions
Mm,
about myself to myself, or it helped me explore a whole lot of different like curiosities with the type of pacing that is out here in this community. That type of pacing kind of just like allowed me to experiment a whole lot more, whether it's doing an X amount of test shoots a week or a month, or X amount of conversations with strangers at certain events and meeting different people.
yeah, when I talked to Johnny, he 100% said the same thing. He was like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm so glad I moved because, like you said, there's these connections that sometimes don't exist in the Bay, especially if you're in like
yeah,
entertainment. Like
yeah.
LA is known for that, you know."
It's definitely a push, right? And like, for example, you can set up an editorial type shoot, something that has like a story with intent in terms of like the fashion, the art design, set design, the type of lighting. You can book out a studio here for like an entire day. Everything's produced within 1 or 2 days
Mm,
versus, and then you have people that are willing and ready to do that work expedited, because let's face it, we all kind of moved down here, at least for me, we all kind of moved down here to experiment and explore what this environment can kind of like offer us. So why not take advantage of like how many resources are out here? And then like with all the LA natives that I've been interacting with as well, like they've been in that type of pacing for a while. So it's super inspiring, and it just makes me want to push even more.
Mm.
Whereas like in the past, yeah, we would have these like short sprints, or I would have these like short sprints, but I don't think I would have too much push to produce a shoot in 2 days versus like, okay, well, we got to plan this out in 2 weeks. We need to push it out so that we have time to plan it out.
Mm.
And out here, you're just like, man, well, that ape shoot that I did, they hit us up 3 days prior. So we had to do everything, get casting, make sure that we had clothes, props, crew up within 2 days or even like one day, and then shoot it, 2 day turnaround for final images and delivery.
And that's
And
like normal
that
over
type of
there, huh?
pace, I don't think it's like normal, but there are a lot of instances where that's definitely happened in our productions. And yeah, I mean, it's good practice, and it makes you, it helps me sharpen my sword in terms of like efficiency, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah, which is great. I'm not mad at that at all, and it's exciting, and I think that's why I also really like freelance, dude.
Dude, you've been freelancing for a minute. I mean, I don't even remember, like, as long as I've known you, I just known you as a freelancer. I just found out recently that you were like PT, right, in college or something?
Yeah,
Weren't
yeah.
you?
So I was studying at USF. Go Dons. I'm saying.
Go downs.
Yeah,
What
don't
is
thrash
this?
the
What is this?
stash. So don't. It says, I don't know if they actually do this, but one of the shirts that they had for like one of the basketball games was "Don't thrash the stash," and I kind of liked it,
Oh,
so I just
I
say that
like that.
each time. Yeah,
I'm gonna go
don't
like this
thrash the
now.
stash. Yeah, dude. And then like in middle school, you used to like draw like the pen mustache here.
Yeah, yeah.
And you used to be like, oh yeah, I'm hella quirky.
Little teacup, with a little mustache.
Ah, dude. Yeah, actually, that'd be sick. I want one again.
That's the thing, right? I feel like I've seen that in a cup.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude.
I feel like I saw that like Fame or something. Just kidding.
I'm pretty sure I had a bow tie with mustaches on it, dude.
I'm
Shout out
pretty
that.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was studying. I came from like a med field slash rehab academia. Yeah,
Academia.
I
Yep,
was
that's right.
studying. Yeah, so I have like a bachelor's of science in kinesiology, and I really wanted to get into physical therapy. This all comes like behind like my dance background, and also just being Filipino, of wanting to be in like the med field somehow.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how it goes.
At SF State, I was a nursing major, and then when I transferred over to USF, I already decided like I wanted to get into like physical therapy and understand the body in that sense. There are a lot of things within like the dance world that make me interested in how the body moves, how we learn movement, and yeah, I was going about that for a while. I graduated with that degree. I was applying for grad programs or DPTs, and then as I was applying, I got more involved with my community again, not as a dancer, but more as like also like a stage manager and producer through this event called Fame. That's where I met, well, shout out Bobby V, one of the
Woo.
main producers there and like founders, and then the co-founder was also John Accioli. So he was the one that handled the fashion show side, from my understanding, while Bobby handled like the community and linking over the urban or street culture with John's expertise of like the high fashion side, right? So giving those like designers and those types of creatives within our community of San Jose and the Bay Area opportunities to try to have like these types of productions to properly represent their work in that sense. And since I met John, I was already kind of like fiddling with like a camera. And that last year of 2017, I asked him if I could just help him out on like a random shoot just to like learn more of like the production side, photography or media and advertising, and then kind of just kept going there. I was trying to do both physical therapy and media production, and I think my curiosity led me more towards the visual and like the art creative aspect versus unfortunately the frustrations of not getting into grad programs for DPT. Granted, I only gave it like one application shot, but I think that even that was enough to understand where my desire and like my passion was, or not even my passion, my curiosity was for media, and then like creating these different types of characters for shoots or whatsoever.
Did
Yeah.
you have a if you weren't going to those grad programs, did you have like a part-time job with your degree?
Yeah, so I was working as a physical therapy aide. It was at a clinic out in San Jose, and I'm really close to like a couple of like those PTs that I worked with still. I
Hmm.
actually used to live with them
Oh,
even
that's
after
cool.
I started like pursuing like media. Yeah. And yeah, no, I mean like I was working with different athletes and different demographics. I can't go too deep into that, but it was super fun to I guess like learn more about that world in a clinical setting in terms of
Especially
body
because
and
you're a dancer
movement.
too, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where it all came back to. It all just came back into like dancing and the creative realm. And I think that foundation of curiosity from dance, creating characters, just ended up making me lead into media production and like photography, something like recreative.
I don't know if you know this, but Johnny also studied PT.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about it a
Nice.
long time ago. And then like, because I know that he was like a breaker too, and most breakers or dancers in general, when they're thinking about like some sort of like STEM or like media or media med field
Yeah.
and rehab, PT's kind of PT, Chiro, anything that has something to do with the body is kind of like instantaneous. Same thing with athletes. Athletes will immediately go straight, or not immediately. Athletes, I've seen a lot of people in my classes at USF. They're athletes, former movers, former movement artists, the athletes, teachers, blah blah. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems like a common thing because like they still want to
yeah,
make money but learn about the body.
yeah. And again, it just goes back into like what your curiosity kind of like leads you into. I think, at least for me. And when I met Johnny in like high school, I think it was
Yeah,
high
you knew him
school
in high school?
because of Quatch, Michael Quatch. Yeah,
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. There was one time we went to like, I think it was him, dude. Like we went to Vegas,
Oh, he did go to
which
that.
is like
I
this
remember
tumbling team. Yeah, and we were just like all trying to like learn flips, dude.
that. Damn, there
And
was a
now
moment
he
where you were
just,
doing flips. Didn't know that.
dude, I still tried, man. I still try. It's not good, but I was
Can
trying
you
to
do a
get into
backflip?
like the tricking realm, dude. I can,
Oh
yeah.
shit, loop kicks or what?
I went to a couple camps, bro.
Damn. Okay. Oh, you know
Shout
what's
out
up.
Luke
You know
Kicks, you
what's up.
know.
Shout out loop
Shout
kicks.
out, yeah, shout out JR. Shout out Jarvin Runes. I kick
Oh,
it with
dude,
him
all those
often
guys.
now. Yeah,
I
dude.
always see JR everywhere, man. He's doing big things. He's also throwing his
Yeah,
own film,
man.
if you know that.
He does. Yeah, he is. And I think right now he's like he's working for like the Warriors for their games, and then also working for like the city of San Jose in terms of like events, I believe. So shout out to him, dude. Hit him up,
Shout
yo.
out to JR, man. Get him on the pod. I want to go back to the freelance thing. So, because like, I've asked like freelancers this, and like it was like many of them just they knew they wanted to go freelance full time because they knew that it would be steady. Like for David, there was a point where it was like, okay, this money can actually cover me while I'm good. I think Johnny kind of had a similar feeling. When did you know that you wanted to do it full time? Was it because you couldn't get into the grad programs?
No, so I actually got a job as like a digital media producer at this tech company. That would have set me for a long time. But comparing that type of work with what I was getting as like freelance gigs on the side, I didn't feel as excited and I didn't
Mm.
feel as like fulfilled, I would say. So I kind of took the risk between like stability and excitement. I think,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because like with freelance, like you never know, man. Like especially with the economy and what's going on in terms of like politics or like strikes, work can be down real quick for a long time. I kind of took that risk. Honestly, at that job, they offered me a promotion of like a managerial position, but I turned it down so that I could just freelance. And I knew that it was a huge risk because there's so many variables and I'm not getting my clientele, or like the type of clientele that I have is not where it's going to be every single month a shoot for them. It's going to be like twice a year or maybe once a year. So the frequency of it makes it so that like financially, oh dude, like this could be crazy. But
Were you
it's
stressed
the
at all
variability.
when you were
Oh,
trying to
dude,
figure
all the time, man. Dude, like even right now I'm stressed, man.
it
But it's also like the excitement of it, like
out?
am I gonna work next week? Who knows? Like it gets to that point, especially out here, or even sometimes up in the Bay, productions don't like get the full green light until right before, or you're playing more supportive roles on set as say like a grip or gaff, or even just like as a photo assistant, and you're just like it's based on who's available at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like it gets worrisome there, but the type of people that I get to connect with at these productions or shoots, the type of work that we do, because of how many different like variables there are, I can't say that like one day is exactly the same or even close to the same as another day, or like one shoot, one production for the same brand can have a completely different experience than it does for the same brand but like another shoot, and to me that's kind of what I like.
Yeah.
I would also like to be financially stable, but like
Well, I mean, the
it's certain
ceiling is
sacrifices, I
like
think.
it's like
Yeah,
unlimited, right? When you're freelancing, it's you can make as much as money as you want, but you also get to work on the things that you want. And so that's
exactly. Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of freelancers or entrepreneurs are. Okay, for myself as a freelancer and entrepreneur, like I really have to have a lot of like these internal conversations about what I value and what I want to be putting time towards, and how selfish or how unselfish I could be when it comes to taking on projects, gigs, and what I want my rate to be in that sense.
yeah, no, for sure. We will definitely go back to the freelance stuff, but I want to go back to dance a little bit because I know that's been a big part of your life. We talked about it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And so, by the way, we're gonna be jumping around. That's just how it goes.
dude, it's all good, man.
We're catching up, man. I'm loving it.
It is. I don't think I've ever really talked about like
That part.
what I do and just how it came to be. Often. I
Yeah,
usually try to
a
like
couple of my
hide.
guests. Yeah, you're kind of in the background. A couple
Yeah,
of guests have told me that too. It's like, yeah, I've never really thought about that. I'm kind of like your
yeah, man.
little angel on your shoulder, kind of telling
Yeah,
you to talk
just
about it.
whispering sweet nothings throughout the day. I like that.
Exactly. Now we're doing it live.
Clip that. You know what I'm saying? What do they say on stream?
Boom. Oh, I
Yeah,
don't even know.
there it
What
is.
did they say? Clip that.
I've seen it
We
on
gotta
some like
ask Johnny.
YouTube
He's
videos.
on Twitch.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay, let's talk about dance because again, like I
Yes.
said, big part of your life. First of all, you gotta tell the people who are the pickmen. Who are the pickmen?
Oh man. Okay,
Who
so
are these peeps?
Pikmin is a high school crew. We're majority of us are from Evergreen Valley High School, ranging from like different years, I guess. But we were all just practicing outside of like the gym lobby after school every day. We were all friends, and we decided to just start entering battles and jams together. From that, like we kind of like expanded out through different schools, but most of all, just like a good ass family. Yeah, this is man. This is me, Shez, Francis, Curtis, Michael Quatch, Eric and Alan Pham, Chris Pham,
Oh, I didn't
Stephen
realize it was
Lee.
that big. Holy moly.
Yeah, dude, we had a good amount of people from like Overfell, Silver Creek, and then Evergreen. Maybe don't include all the individual names just because I might miss some. It's just been so
It's
long,
just a
dude.
crew.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so like Pikmin was like a family or like a group of friends first that constantly just saw each other at sessions, either right outside of like the gym lobby of Evergreen or Alum Rock City Dance up in SF, and we all just kind of just started entering jams together as friends. Some of us took it like past high school.
Did you guys ever imagine it to be like a big ass like Did you guys ever imagine you guys would compete big, or was it more of just like a homey
No,
thing?
we just really wanted it to be like, I think for me, I wanted it to be like a homey thing. We enjoyed doing like benefit concerts and performances there, here and
Yeah.
there. But I think for the most part, it was more of just like us being family and hanging out, being able to play video games together. I mean, it's based on a video game, right?
Pikmin,
That
right?
I have
Yeah.
not played. Yeah, I will also say I've never played Pikmin. I think it was really Shez and Michael Quach, that played Pikmin before. I don't know how I came to be that name.
Someone asked about your crew history. I have no idea, bro.
Dude, I have
Just
no idea,
Pikmin.
but I was there from the start, man. Like, yeah, I repped Pikmin at jams like all the time. Yeah. So
I don't know my family, but I'm part of it.
no, I know my family too. It's just it's
My
been
man.
like a long time since I've like talked to some of them, man. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
dude, like Brendan is out in Hawaii. He's Pikmin.
Damn. What?
Brendan Tran.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever meet him? Yeah,
Is he
it's like
the one that's a doctor?
he's a doctor now, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has like
I kind of knew him.
yeah, perfect skin complexion, right? I
He
don't think I've
does.
ever seen a pimple on his face, bro.
That's very true.
Like, like that is something for sure.
All the
I
homies
was
are all
part
over
of
the place,
Pikmin.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's fun. I guess like when you travel, like you always have like people to connect with.
And you guys are all kind of like, because you're not really a choreo crew, or were you? I don't know. Or would you more of like a freestyle crew?
No, we were all like freestylers. So like we consisted of like breakers mainly, popping and locking, house, and then
Yeah. Also.
yeah, we did some like performances, but that wasn't really like our bread and butter. Even like our performances had like a huge element of, hey, let's just put on a song and
Yeah, it's like fuck it.
freestyle. Yeah, whatever happens, happens. Or like we'll do a routine and then, okay, you're solo now. And the solo is the majority of like the performance, which to me, like it
Yeah.
was great. You know, it was hella fun. Yeah, I'm a part of that crew. And then I'm also a part of Tic Tactics out in the Bay Area. Shout out Tic Tactics. You know, there are a lot of times where like we used to see them out at jams before I was part of them.
Hmm.
And then it was pretty similar. Like some of the members we would always get down with mad late, especially like when I was in college. There's this house in South City, yeah, South City, and we'd probably be getting down until like 5 a.m.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then it was because of those like connections where it's just like, hey man, you want to just be in it. You want to just help rep.
That's just how it
All right,
goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I like you guys, yeah. And even with that, like we all already started to have like other creative outlets. So it didn't really just mesh around dance. It started to dance around like other mediums.
Ba-dum-ps. Nicely done.
People
Nicely
Miles
done.
Flair. Yeah,
Tito
dude.
Miles. I gotta have a little air horn soundbite.
Oh, oh no.
Nah, man, I resonate. I resonate with that because I also in like b boy. I'm a b boy too, and
Yeah.
freestyle dance is also what I do. What makes freestyle dance different from other dances? Because I feel like it's such a different. It's so different from others.
I mean, I think it's kind of like I think it's like this interview where there's nothing really planned on my end,
Yeah,
and I'm just kind of reacting. I'm just kidding.
this is our freestyle right now.
It's a freestyle dance right now, man. Oh, look at this. Oh, bionic.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa,
just kidding.
whoa!
Yeah, don't.
I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that for those that are
Shout
watching. You
out,
saw it first.
shout out, bionic.
ABDC.
Yeah, dude.
Remember that?
Supreme
It's the Super
Soul.
Crew, right?
Yeah,
Or yeah,
machine.
Supreme
No, Supreme Soul,
Supreme
man.
Soul. Yeah.
Machine Gun Funk. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, you threw that way
Yeah,
back.
dude.
Holy moly! What makes freestyle dance different from other dances? I feel like it's harder, in my opinion, because I mean, you're literally thinking on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking on the fly, I guess. For me, it feels very like reactionary, either like to the music rhythmically or melodically, or even just like who who's out there in the circle and who I want to just be like make a quick like reference to. To me, it feels very like conversational, especially like out in ciphers and like battles, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely like provide some sort of, yeah, dude, words. I hate words, bro. Just move. But
Words. Yeah, I use my body,
yeah,
not words.
yeah, I just use my body.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like for me I feel like freestyling is more like reactionary conversations. You kind of just have to flow a lot. And I think that's the fun part for me. Like, dude, you can, a lot of the time, I don't know what's happening in the music and I kind of just like blank out. But because I feel like it's a good time to just like stop. Or like when I used to battle, or yeah, when I used to battle more often towards the tail end, I would legit just see my friends in the crowd while I'm battling and just be like, hey, dude, this Pandroid. Hey, dude. Yeah, it's like super random. But I think that type of vulnerability allows us to really understand ourselves, our community. It's pretty bare because you cannot change or make certain movements and reactions intentful. It kind of just has to be like, oh, what's natural, and it's a lot more of like a feeling. So you can, at least for me, I can see the maturity in certain dancers based on how they are even just like two stepping, because even that's going to be very telling how comfortable they are with their music, their movement, their body, their own personality, and how they communicate verbally, since that is just like a reflection of how they're going to communicate like this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
with
we're
your body.
communicating
Yeah,
right now.
sorry. I got to remember that this is like audio
Well, no, there's
mainly,
video portion
not.
too. It'll it'll,
Yeah,
it'll,
but
it'll live
like
on there.
it's also consumed like mainly audibly, right?
It's consumed
Or I
audibly,
don't know.
and so for the people that
Yeah,
missed that, we were doing some body waves. So,
excellent. With our shoulders.
yep, little shoulder shrugs.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know: do you feel like dance, maybe freestyle dance specifically, has helped you in your life,
Oh,
both
dude, yeah,
professionally or personally? What do you think?
100%, man. Like I think any art form that's gonna get you questioning or curious about like your intent for your intents for doing it is going to have some sort of positive input or impact. And for me, with dance, I think that's how I just relate, the way that I communicate verbally, how I interact with people. It's how I kind of like gauge who I want to become friends with. And to be honest, because of dance, like I think I can feel people's intents of why they're approaching me. I can feel
Mm,
if, their intent of, hey, dude, yeah, let's go shoot, feels very genuine. Like, yeah, I just want to create and I feel like you're a good person, versus like, oh, how can I get on your project so that I can have something else attached to my name? So I feel like
it's a
I'm
nice way
also
to
very,
get someone.
yeah, yeah. And to be honest, like, dude, there's music everywhere, and I practice. I do random movements even without music. And it's just like a fun like
Yeah,
conversation starter. I think it's also nice to see that somebody's able to be vulnerable and open with movement. And then on shoots, it's kind of helped either client or other talent, other creatives kind of just be like, ha, this guy can be like a fool in a professional setting, but also still be professional, hopefully. And
I see the
so
ochos on
so
set.
like yeah, so let me also like be a part of this environment that allows me to be myself, if this guy is comfortable enough to be himself here. And yeah, I think there are a whole lot of things that linked together between what I've learned within dance and how I live my life, how I choose my friendships or relate with other people within the community, how I work in production and different like work ethics and values. You know, yeah, it's definitely a full on foundation for my own being.
I like that. I'm gonna get that tatted
Yeah,
right here.
damn, what all that jumble mumble jumble? It's like roar, it's dumb thing that we're. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
no.
just like scribbles.
I mean, like when I used to produce for Fame for like our panel discussions, that was a question that I liked asking individual artists a lot. It was very much like, what about your medium, dude? What did you learn from the medium of art that you do that has remained within like your everyday life? So like for me with dance, I think it's the importance of like energy and
Hmm.
providing an environment that will allow people to kind of like create. Because if you're like if you set up a cipher and you like or a session and you're hosting and you know that like oh dude this guy's kind of eh, you're never gonna get down, you're never gonna practice, and you're never gonna grow. So like how can I do that within my life through dinners or conversations with people and even like on set to provide like an environment that's gonna allow people to be open, explore their creativity or explore their curiosity and different questions within life or just be open to do like the Ocho Ocho randomly and sing Mariah Carey, even
Yeah.
though we can't sing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're Filipino. You could definitely sing,
Nah,
or maybe
dude, I
not. I
did
don't
not
know.
get that gene, bro. I did not get that gene. Dude,
No.
okay, sidetrack. I went to karaoke last week.
Ooh, K Town.
No, I think it was in Culver City, and it was not the ones where like you're in your own room.
Oh, is it like
Like,
the public ones where you?
dude, that was the first time I've done it.
I've seen those.
On stage.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, you know, like I'm keeping a tune. It's cool. A random stranger sent me a video of like us singing because I was with one of my friends, and then they're just like, I looked at it. I was like, man, yeah, I'm not the Filipino that can sing that well, dude. Let's stick to like dancing or something, man. You know what
Is
I'm
that when
saying?
you knew that you didn't have the gene?
I mean, I already knew that I didn't really have the gene,
It's coming
but
from someone else.
I still hoped that like, you know, I had a good balance between the two. I got some work to do vocally, dude.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
you
I
got it
mean,
though.
I got a little bit of it. I try
Dude,
not to do it as much.
I heard you take the mic over at karaoke, dude.
I can. I don't know if it's a
Yep.
good thing,
And,
but I can. Oh man, yeah, that's the dilemma we have. Just multidisciplinary artists. We're not good at everything though.
but I mean, like it's fun, and I think it goes back to your question of like, oh, how does like our previous art forms or like art forms that we got into prior to media production or like you're also in like visual arts, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are a billion ways that dance and understanding movement and even directing kind of link with dancing, you know,
Oh, 100%.
for
When
you.
I think about my
Yeah.
when I freestyle and my breaking, even when I come up with sets or I'm in a cipher, I automatically link it to all the career stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have to think on the fly in those set like spots, even in battles. Dude, battles are the hardest thing. And I like to consider like those b-boy battles my battles in life, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a freestyle right here. So yeah, I
Dude.
always try to link my dance stuff with life stuff.
Yeah. And even like the way that, because I've seen you direct, even like when it comes to like weddings and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I would also relate it to like freestyling dance. It's kind of just like you don't want to give them too much time to think about, oh, is what I'm doing looking appealing? No, just feel the moment, feel it. Great. That's a great emotion. That's a great scene. Move forward. Don't think about it afterwards. Beautiful. Stunning.
Stunning. Yeah, I know. Hit him with all
Yeah.
the adjectives.
We all
No,
got
I
our
think you're
list,
right
dude.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, we
You're
got
right
our
though. I
list of
mean,
adjectives.
being in the moment, right? Like that's what essentially what it is. That's what freestyling is. It's just being in the
Yeah.
moment. But yeah, I want to go back to communities because when I think about you, and I'm sure all our homies do think about this way too. Like you're like one of the biggest community people I know. You know, you've been a part of like a lot of communities, and I just think you give back a lot. And going back to like the creative stuff, like what was your first creative community? Was it the dance community? Was it the the media visuals community? What would you say?
I think it came back to like ministry and church
Oh,
mainly.
we're going way back. That type
Yeah,
of community. Okay.
yeah, yeah, dude. So, and like family, right? Like, say for my family, my mom is the eldest, and it's mainly like her side that's out here in the States. So if we had like family gatherings, it's usually me and my brothers hosting. I mean, even if I'm the youngest out of my siblings, I'm not the eldest out of the rest of my cousins, because our mom is the eldest, you kind of just have to be very community based or familial based, making sure that people are okay. Not technically babysitting, but also just hanging out with the cousins and making sure that they feel comfortable, right? Or at church, because like our family was very religious and involved within like our church community. It was very natural to insert myself in the different activities of, say, like every Sunday mass, youth mass, like being an usher or a greeter and talking to random strangers just to hand them like song books or bulletins.
Mm.
And then that evolving into me helping run the youth mass and having and training other youth to be a part of the community that way, and running different ministries between like junior high and high school, and understanding that type of language of how can we connect with these folks and provide a space that they feel comfortable with, an environment that they feel comfortable with to be vulnerable. I think that's where it always comes back to. I think I said that like before too, right? It wasn't necessarily for me to be like, hey, yeah, uh, religion, yeah, spirituality, yeah.
Right.
It was mainly like, dude, like, how can I help provide like a space for these youths with different questions to be open about asking these questions? And then I think that set like that foundation on top of like the whole like familial thing with what I wanted to do with like the rest of like the creative community when I got into like more dance and helping run events with like Bobby V, or even just like the small group of friends of like my crew with Pikmin and Tic Tactics, or just getting Pocha K with yourself and like other people. Like it's, yeah. I think my main goal for each of these things and like how I get into it, what drives me is, man, I would love to be more of like myself out in public. What has helped me do that? And then how can I be that type of provider, or how can I help do that for like other people to be as open, whether it's like on set or at fame, at a dance competition, just or just getting dinner with homies. You know, I don't know if that answers.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean that answer my question, man. That's a good one. I didn't know the church thing. I mean, I was also in church,
Yeah.
and I had my own little community. I actually still keep those are some of my closest friends, my friends from church. We all don't go to the same at church as much nowadays, but I mean, it's crazy how much community you can foster from church. You know?
Oh yeah, man. And I think that that was like a huge that was a huge environment where like I explored like leadership or just wanting to be a part of a community. I don't think I'm a leader whatsoever in terms of like the Bay Area community or for like the arts or anything like that. But at least with church, there's a lot of things that like I can explore with in terms of on how I communicate with members of the community, regardless of the different demographics or age, stuff like that. How can I connect with people, and then how can I make it super fun for myself as well, and self-serving.
It was a very safe space for that kind of stuff. I feel like.
Yeah, and I think I was again like I think I was like super lucky because I don't think a lot of people have had that type of environment, welcomed environment and experience if they talk about like different communities such as like religion or even like academics in school, things like that, clubs, you know,
Yeah.
things can get easily get like very clicky. But I think I was lucky to be in a space where I could explore those conversations and those internal questions and curiosities. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's dope, and I feel like, hey, man, that's a good answer. You know, I feel like I relate to that a ton because again, I've been going to church for so long, and it's just a big part
Yeah.
of our lives. You know,
Yeah. And like your parents are like huge community leaders
they
within
are,
their parish, right? Yeah.
yeah. So I get a lot of inspiration
I
from
love that.
them, which is kind of cool. But going back to the local kind of community event stuff, so you're huge in Fame, right? Well, for those who don't know, Fame's like it stands for Fashion Arts Music Exhibition, big event in San Jose, held annually and featured basically the arts, fashion, and music. And you've been part of it and you've performed in it, right? You've done both. You kind of
Yeah,
helped.
so I started off as like a performer with the crew Pikmin. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Shout it out. Bring it back.
Shout it out. I think our first performance was in 2010, and then we've been performing every year since. And then, or not every year since, just like the past or the next few years. Then I got more into like the stage management and like back end production side. What I love about like our Fame community is that we'll just have like really weird ideas just for funsies that we'll do. So like one of my jobs that one year was a validation booth. But when
What
Bobby
is
brought it
that?
up to
What's
me,
a validation booth? I don't even know what that is.
like when you think about, like you think about like parking, so that's what Bobby was thinking of. Bob was thinking of like, oh, it could be like a parking thing. But before he said that, I think it was somebody else in the conversation was just like, oh, like compliments. So I spent the entire day
It's a different
or that
idea.
entire
Yeah.
event like with a cardboard like sign right here or whatever. And I was a validation booth. I would legit just go to people and just be like, hey, dude, I like your outfit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's
Like, hey,
hilarious,
your
bro.
shoes are super cool, man. Yeah.
Did Bobby know you were doing
There
that?
was, yeah, he did. He did. He was just like, oh, dude, yeah. So, I
Amazing.
mean, like that was decided prior to like that event. Anyways, there's another time where we were just doing like random giveaways for people in line because we knew that like waiting in line for 2 hours or an hour to just to get in was not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of the Fame staff, we just like donated random stuff, and I just hosted a game show on at the line, and I was just like, dude, this is really cool. From there, got into like the stage management position and started working my way in that end for like our last huge Fame. I performed and also stage managed and worked with a lot of the vendors just to do like the whole hospitality type stuff. And then we decided to make it a lot smaller about like the community that ran it and the creatives that were a part of it, like our vendors. So after 2017, we started making it into smaller events, say like panel discussions of how can how have these creatives made it in their way, in their version. Can they talk about their story and then open it up for questions so that there were people that were interested in say like media production or fashion were able to like ask their questions on how do you decide who's a good manufacturer for your designs in terms of like your blanks for shirts, for example, or what was the intent of this, and the creative answering back like it's as simple as I kind of just liked it, or having a long ass reasoning why. A lot of those types of conversations kind of just helped myself in general to understand that things were did not have to be as extensive as and as poetic as I thought they needed to be. Like sometimes I could just be like, yeah, man, I just like that image because I like that image. I
Yeah.
like that image because of the energy. That's great. Cool. Amazing. Stunning. Beautiful. Oh, adjectives.
Stunning. Beautiful.
And since then, we've kind of scaled down into more of like just feeding our community and seeing those individual communities kind of just branch off into their own things. There are also a whole lot more markets out there in San Jose. I was just talking to like Bob and our homie Kev of Hella Massive. We were discussing about doing events again, and yeah, there's a whole lot of people doing amazing things, and sometimes we kind of have to like take a step back and understand like, hey, it's not our time. It's humbling to know that like we want to do these things, but it's also good to understand like, hey, it's not your time to intrude or to insert yourself into another community because that might stunt the rest of the community's growth, or like it might like hinder somebody's curiosity because they're just going to be like, oh, this person's already doing it, why am I going to do it, why am I going to try? All right, move on.
Yeah, there's a lot of younger people throwing events now. Like there's this guy named William who's been throwing these art events that have been just so good. I wanted to know, like, because you were a performer and then you were with Fame for a long ass time, and I'm pretty sure you've been in part of other events too. But what are some of the lessons that you learned just being part of those long term events?
I think,
And you gave a couple already too, where you let people that
yeah,
are coming up to let them do their thing, right? Especially if they want to start
that's
their own
like the
communities.
kind of like pass the torch type vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely don't think that like I was ever at that level to like pass a torch or whatsoever, but like having Bob or John, Kev kind of like pass the torch to the other members of their communities, like that stuff was really cool. Having them give me opportunities as well was like super cool. I think the underlying thing for me is just really about the community. Like if your community is not being fed, and if your community is not being fed like spiritually, being given these platforms to grow, if you're not helping your community push, well, what's going to be in it for you? Or like, not that. Hmm. What what does that say in as like a reflection of like who you are, I guess. Hold on, this is I don't know how to word it. Because like I think what I want to say is like I'm nothing without my community.
Mm, right.
The words and the jokes that I have are references to
From the
members
community.
in my community
Yeah.
that I can easily point out, right? Like I say sick in a certain way because of somebody in the community.
Damn.
I do certain dance moves in ciphers because of certain people in the community, and I like make eye contact with them, and it's a reference to them. The way that I direct on set when I'm shooting and like photographing is because of like my community. So I think the main thing that I take away from learning or from Fame and the other teams that I'm like a part of have been it's
They make
cool
who
to
you are, right?
yeah, it makes who I am, and I think it's cool to see that like certain things remind me of these people.
Mm. Yeah, because if you're at home, I mean, like if you're by
Yeah,
yourself, you're not gonna have any of these.
yeah, you like you hear about like this concept of like biting,
Yeah,
which I think is also like very solid, right? Like, dude, a bite is a bite for sure. You are copying somebody like
you're stealing like
like
a an
this, dude.
idea,
Like
right?
you're copying for sure, right? But then there are certain exactly, but then you know there are certain parts of like your story where it's just gonna end up being like, hey, I listen to music because I get down with them. It's not like I'm intentionally biting, or
Yeah.
it's not like I'm having similarities without understanding where it comes from. And I'm also very much willing to be like, hey, yeah, dude, me and Shez, we've been dancing for a long time. There are definitely similarities when I see myself get down and how I listen to music, even if we're doing different styles. I'm just like, man, shout out Shez, dude. Like
Shout
that.
out to Shez, man,
Shout out
the
Shez,
homie.
dude. There are ways that like I direct where I'm just like, man, shout out John, shout out Jason, shout out James, Alex, EJ, dude. Like Chua. There's so many things that I feel like I do in my everyday life that I can refer back to, and being okay with that, or that I can refer back to certain people, and being okay with that is something that I learned very much within like community work and Fame.
Mm.
Like why fight that I am absorbing these great amazing qualities of these individuals, give them their flowers at the same time, and embrace it, and then see how I can kind of like mesh with it in like my own funny Tito Miles way. You know what I'm saying?
Tito Ocho Miles. You know what I'm saying?
Sick. Yeah,
Sick,
dude.
dude. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you've been with the Fame team for it's almost like feels like a decade. It's close to that, yeah. What, 6, 7 years or something?
Yeah. I mean, no. It's been over
Over, yeah.
since like 2010. That was our first performance
And it's been around
for
till
Fame.
2018 ish.
I mean, technically, we're all still a community. We just all run like our own like little stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Bobby's still with like the breaking community and passing off the torch to say like Rick, Steven, and now like
Mom's
ESU
Recipe
and
and
Mom's Recipe. Yep.
yeah.
Or
Those are B-boy
like
crews, by the way. They're killing it.
yeah, and then just like or like sorry, also shout out Elephant Graveyard because like
Whew. I'm trying to get Vicky
they're
on the pod.
fucking
She's killing it.
dude. She is killing it, man, and she's just so nice. Yeah, if you get her on the podcast, like you have to also get the dog Oki to bark
Oh, okay.
sometimes. Yeah, you gotta get like
I'll
some
make
sort
note
of
of that.
feature, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okie.
yeah, Oki. Yeah, but like the Fame crew or the Fame family and all of them kind of just like growing and doing their own thing right now. And it's really nice to see, even if it's just, getting or starting a family or having their own community, moving out and trying to create a community in a new city, things like that. It's all super inspiring and very fun to, I guess, chat about and catch up on.
Fame is one of those events that has kind of grown with me because I was also there when it was like '09. And then
Yeah.
it was just crazy how big it got. And when you think about the longevity of Fame, right? And just how long that this community has been around, like, what is your advice to those people that want to have a community like that in the long run?
Oh man, connect with people like genuinely. Like there's differences. Let's go back into like dance, I guess.
Yeah.
There are differences in crews that you can see that are like, oh man, these guys are actually homies versus like, oh dude, these are just like a bunch of great dancers like just entering together.
Super crew.
Whoa, whoa.
I'm just
I'm not
kidding.
naming anything, dude.
Well, I didn't mean to call it that, like the super crew, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah, yeah.
going.
But like, yeah, man, like you can see in the way that people interact and like the authentic like projects that they kind of like push out on. It's really just like, oh man, I want to do this because of the people I'm doing it with. There's this one producer. Oh yeah, here you go. This one
Oh, here we
producer
go. Yeah.
out here in SoCal. He said like there are three people, or there are three reasons why people will do like a project with you, and it's based on having the same having the same goal, having the same enemy, and then because they're just down for you like 100%, right? Like, and I feel like when it's really just about like being down for the people, this is where this kind of also like bad business, but this is where like money is not really like a thing. It's really just like, hey man, I see what you're doing. I want to be a part of it, and not because I want to put my name on it, but because I want to help you with whatever assets or tools that I have to empower you and bring you up.
Mm.
And I think that's what I've always felt with like the Fame community, regardless of if it was just like, hey, something as serious as like, yo, where should we be hosting our next event? Like, should we have a concert at the same time so that we can add in a completely new demographic? Or something as crazy as like, yo, this one music festival had a Tupac hologram. Let's get a Biggie hologram during the fashion show. How can we make that happen? You know?
Yeah.
And regardless of if that's something that someone was down for that hologram or not, because of the person and the community that is putting these ideas together, we're just going to try to make it happen. And I think that's what allows for like this longevity. Same thing in crews for me is like, man, my crewmates are freaking dope at what they do. If I was only in this crew to win certain jams or so that I could call out certain people, once I finish those intents, I'm going to be out. But because I'm there for the people themselves, dude, it's not like it's going to end once we stop dancing. It's going to be like, oh man, Sean, you're doing a lot of stuff as like a content creator right now. And how can I help you? Like I see the similarities of like what you do and the conversations that we have with like art directors that I have. Is there something that we could do to kind of like, oh dude, let's push you in that route? Yo, Shez, how are you doing, dude? Like, what's going on? Doing great. Amazing. How can I be a good friend for you? Like it goes beyond like the initial things that got us started. And I think though that's really the key for a genuine community. It's not because of like the hobby or the interest that got us in. It's just like, hey man, I'm working with you because I just like who you are, and I like what you do. Yeah, we might not be the best at what we do right now, but I'm down to explore that and make mistakes and grow with you in that sense and be a part of that journey with you rather than you're not there yet. All right, let me know when you are. Hit me up. That vibe.
How long do you feel like it took you before you knew that these were people you'd want to vibe with for a while? Did you know right away, or maybe after a few months, like you happen to know?
I think it was pretty instantaneous. Like I said, like with dance, like when someone gets down in a circle, you can really understand what their intents are.
Hmm.
You can see if they are looking to see if people are watching, or like you can feel if they are like, yeah, man, I'm just freaking like enjoying this music and I'm getting down. So like being able to do those temperature checks within like conversations immediately because of my experience in dance. Yeah, I guess it's a lot of the time it's just like, man, this is amazing. This is great. I'm glad that we can connect. Hey, I know that we're probably just going to be kicking it for a season or like a series, and that's totally okay. Yeah. I will say though, I feel very lucky and blessed that majority of my interactions have been closer to like the types of interactions when I met my crew and the Fame team and the DSOTM team. It's my experiences out in the Bay, messing around with like visual media, and out in SoCal with visual media as well. Those communities, I've been blessed to feel this camaraderie and this unified drive to help each other grow and explore and present each other in the best light and in the best way, even if there's no budget, even if there's like nothing else, you know, just because we're down for each other. I think that shit's cool.
It's beautiful, man. I mean, it just sounds like you guys knew right away that this is an instant vibe, and that's something with the freestyle dance too. It's like the
Yeah,
intentions when you see them in the cipher, right? It's pretty clear. Is that the same with the Fame team? Like it was pretty clear what the intentions
yeah,
were.
for sure. Especially like working with like Bob, Steven, John, Ray, Spen. I feel like these lists can keep on going, man.
Yeah,
There's a
a
whole lot of
ton of good
people within
people.
like this community, yeah, that are just like, man, yeah, let's just do something cool. Let's just do something fun because we can. And if there are limitations or certain resources that we don't have, what workarounds can we do it so that this person could have what, or this person can get their idea out there and try it out in front of thousands of people during an event. Sick, cool. Like the amount of creative freedom that they wanted to give each other, as long as it produced positivity. And yeah, it was dope. Like, dude, we had Joey do magic tricks.
Chaotic.
Joey Chaotic. Yeah, we had him do magic tricks for 1 year
Shout
throughout the
out
night
Joey. Hooray.
because he was just like, I feel like that was like the when he was really into like card manipulation
He
and
he
stuff like
had
that.
a had a,
And
yeah, yeah. There was a
yeah,
moment where he was really into cards. I remember that.
yeah. And then like Bob, I think was just like, hey man, that's cool. You want to just do that for people like out of fame? Cool, sick.
What I'm also getting out of what I'm just hearing you talk is just like everyone's just open to fun ideas. And
Oh
when
man,
you
yeah,
have these events, like you got to be kind of open to that, right? This sounds like that.
yeah. And I think that's what I've been also liking with the community out here in SoCal. Just to try to transition it, so I'm not like only talking about the Bay. The folks, Jason Palacio, great photographer and producer, creative director. He's been getting me on like so many jobs and things like that. And then, to be honest, he's the reason why I also got that like ape shoot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that.
that guy's good people, man. Like, and his community and his friends over at like Tried and True, and like, yeah, just like that circle. In addition to like people that he's known since like he was young, I feel like a lot of them are just, hey, man, like I have this cool thing. What's the most ridiculous way or like the funnest way that we can present it? At Complex Con, let's have like a pawn shop of all of our friends. They can do whatever they want to do, but it has to be this theme. Amazing. Sorry, I got like the sound from my AirPods that like it distracts me. Oh, that's
Do you want
funny.
to change it out? We could take a
Nah,
we could
I
take
mean,
a. Are you sure?
well, I have the other one in here. I think I'm good, and then I'll switch it. But for
Okay.
continuity's sake, should I do this?
Just fucking put a little thing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, and like, it's these fun things that are also just like self expression that I think are like super cool, and that community has showed me that like it's dope to write out for your homies, and it's it's beneficial in so many ways, but especially like spiritually. I think like it feeds our souls so much more when you do it with friends.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so important in a creative community, right? You gotta kind of feed your soul. You can't just do things up front, you know? Like has to kind of go deeper than that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a soulful guy, my guy.
I'm here for the
I
vibes,
got
bro. You
soul.
on laps,
Huh?
dude?
I'm on
What?
laps. You on laps?
Yeah, dude. I'm on laps, bro.
Hey, send me an
Hey,
invite, man.
hit me with the +1 vibes.
I threw four at you, bro.
Oh shoot, dude. Um, did you?
I wish I could. I only give you
That's
one.
someone
I
else.
don't think they allow you
Yeah.
to do more
I
than
feel
that.
yeah, I was gonna feel like, dude, I think they stop you. Yeah.
If you guys don't know Laps, check it out. One of my favorite apps at the moment. I'm curious. You've been doing a few. You've been doing community events in SoCal and NorCal. Complex Con, I guess, is one of those events. Or is there an event like Fame in SoCal that you've seen?
Not exactly. There's a good amount of like markets out here, and I mean, Complex Con's at like a different level of production.
Dude, Complex Con is wild.
But yeah, it's insane. That was my first time at Complex Con. I was working it, but it allowed me to see the amount of like attention these people put into their booths and how they want to curate like their products and stuff like that, or curate the experience. And
Mm.
and I think in that sense, it was is very similar to what I've experienced with Fame, just on different ends of production. You know, I feel like with Fame, you had vendors that would want to put out live screen printing, which was just like an art activation for people that wanted to purchase a shirt, and it would be a shirt that's screen printed on site. For me, that's like unheard of when it was like I think 2010 when I saw it there
Yeah.
at like Vegas, and then people like curating their booths with like a photo opportunity, or say like Empire's shoot, what was that brand?
Empire in the Sun or something. I know what you're talking about.
Empire, yeah, Empire in the
Yeah.
Sun. Where it's funny, I know the names. One of the guys is Chris.
There's a girl that owns it too, right? I forgot her name.
Yeah, dude, I feel
But
really bad that I can't
I know,
name it.
same. If we can figure them out, we'll give them a shout on the show notes.
Empire in the Air.
Empire in the Air. There you go. What was the girl's name
Yep.
again? She's dope. I
Chicha.
met her at Fame. Yeah, yeah.
Chichai.
There you
Chichai.
go.
Yeah. Chichai, Chris. I met one of their homies, Sam, who I think is now in like Washington. Anyways, but like they would put so much thought into like their booths and their build outs for their booth, even if it was just like a one night thing. We had homies from like East Bay, curated by Kev of Hella Massive. He had like an artist alley representing like East Bay and Oakland artists,
Mm.
POCs, and they legit like made like this alleyway of walls built out, and then small art installations for each artist, while one other person was doing a live mural throughout the evening. And I was like, dude,
Crazy.
it like yeah, those types of installations and like thoughts into curating an experience for whoever's there to witness it. I think that's something that I've noticed, say at All Purpose Sauce at Tried and True. These vendors are like curating like a space with music and or even just like the overall event. having certain like artworks to curate an environment that looks and matches the vibe of their brand, or something as big as also like Complex Con, where I mean booth space at 10 by 10 is mad expensive, but they're
Yeah.
still like being able to create a space that's all white living room upside down, or a 40 by 40 space that is a pawn shop with a gate and a security guard just to help with the immersion of the experience, and or a freaking wall of porta potties that people are
Right.
going to mistake as like porta potties in bathrooms. And then you walk in there and then it's all trash man green. Shout out Buttery Pat or Leonard with all of his products. You know what I'm saying? That green jacket is Buttery Pat, okay? Or
Hey, there
Leonard.
you go.
Trash man green, dude. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
But yeah, it's like, gotta shout out the people, dude. It's that community.
It's that whole
Mm,
row behind you. The
dude.
community.
Yeah, dude, to be honest, a lot of this is like from people that I consider mentors, or like people out in the community that I've like become friends with first, and then I'm just like, dude, now I want to get something because I like your story, or I like
I
you as a
like your
person.
vibe.
Yeah, I like your vibe. Plus plus fire emoji on your laps journal. So, but yeah, like I'd probably say like Complex Con has been it, but the community that I've met through that first week, and the people at Tried and True, I think I've been able to go to these events that have reminded me of like, you know, what I've loved about our fame community.
So when you look back at your, you look at the fame events, you look at the Complex Con event, you've been part of these events, you've been going to them, these exhibits and art exhibits, I guess you can say. Like, what can you envision the future of these events will be like?
I don't know, man. It's
Hard to say.
That's tough to say because like I think all these like brands or like artists that are representing and running these brands are just gonna enjoy more things in life. So their ideas are gonna get more wild. And then just seeing how they're gonna execute it is just gonna be super fun.
That's the beauty of it, huh? You really don't know what happened,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. And like the only way that I feel like these art installations or activation sites at conventions or conferences are gonna improve is if the people running it are constantly being fed spiritually or like within their soul. And I feel within the community that I've luckily been introduced to, they all throw in like really fun, ridiculous events with their homies. It's great. This upcoming event is family style, and then I met some of them through Complex Con. Bless you.
Thank you.
And it's really just like a food festival, but like mixes in like streetwear, and a lot of the people are super cool, and you're just like mixing in somebody's love of streetwear and fashion and the community of street culture with culinary and like, yeah, culinary art, dude. Like it's dope. I went to this other event called As I Am, which was run by a few folks and in collaboration with like Bobby Hundreds. And it was all about like appreciating Asian artists, food, and small businesses. And it was a good time. I was dancing a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
signature. Do you think these events will get bigger or smaller? Or maybe there's
Dude, I
just going
think
to be
it's
kind of
only
a
going to get like
mix?
bigger and more fun, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like these guys are, at least to me, what it looks like, it's like, man, these guys are celebrating at each event. And it's because of that genuine like desire to celebrate each other or celebrate like milestones. That's only going to make them like constantly push, even if it's just like a 2 year anniversary, or not just, but even if it's a 2 year anniversary of somebody's natural wine thing, you're going to see a bunch of people from the same community hyping it up, playing good music, and enjoying themselves. And then you're going to see all of them again at this other food market called like Mama Talks. And then again next week at Everybody Eats Food. Like it's our family style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just going to continuously be endless because the amount of support that people have for each other that I've seen within this community is like, it's constant. authentic. It's just love, dude. It's cool.
It's all love, you know.
I don't use the L word though. Let's cut that out.
Yeah,
Clip that.
that's a swear word. We gotta
Yeah,
clip that.
yeah, man.
No, I
I
think
told Jen I don't use that word, dude.
no, you
It's part of my branding.
wait, Jin doesn't use that word either, or you don't use that word?
No, I don't. I don't allow
Oh,
it within my ear space. Know what I'm saying?
it's kept in a box somewhere,
Yeah, man.
or it's not even in a box, huh? It's just it doesn't even
I don't
exist.
know, but cut this part.
Clip it.
That clipping means something else, dude. Clipping means like cut it and keep it and, and put it on a pedestal. I don't want to
Okay,
do
all
that.
right. We'll just use
Shout
cut.
out
We'll just use
Paperclip
cut.
Media. Know what I'm saying?
We'll put them in the show notes. Now, going the streetwear community it's so like they support the hell out of each other. I learned that through Bobby Hundreds. I think he had a podcast with I think it was like Tim Ferriss. He talks about that how like I mean they're still doing it to this day, but do you remember like kind of back in the day when it was just like those 3 or 4 big streetwear brands in LA? It was like the Hundreds, Diamond, I think it was like Huff
Huff.
or maybe a couple more. But they would throw like these community events together, not to compete, but just to celebrate street
Mhm.
culture. And I feel like that type of culture, you know, has outlived itself. You know, it still exists now, and maybe it's evolved.
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing that, I mean, this is also present within like the Bay Area, and I'm sure like a bunch of other communities.
Mm.
But I never thought about like going to these like boutiques or like even just like these shops just to kick it and chat, like
Right,
as
right.
if it's like a coffee shop, right? And that in itself is like a completely other experience that so many people are just welcoming. The homegirl Emily in Bodega, right? I don't when I first went there, because I never really went to too many shops. I think we always just shopped online unless it was like a market. But speaking to the people that run the shops and even just like seeing their vibe, it's cool,
Yeah,
man. And I think I've been trying to experience that more often since I've moved down here because I've been seeing how important that is, right? Like when Jason would take me to like these other like shops or like boutiques, I would just notice him like just chopping it up with like the people working it, seeing how they are. And I think that says a whole lot about how community is the foundation for a lot of these like brands or yeah, in general. Like
it's like the
that's way more
backbone.
important. Yeah, it to me, I feel like it seems like it's more important than the product. And I granted, like the products are sick, but I mean, like I'm buying certain clothes of a certain price point, not because I think it's just sick. It's because like, oh, dude, you're really cool. I like talking to you. I like your vibe. Let's be friends. Hey, this is gonna remind me of this conversation.
Mm,
And
yeah,
I think that's
no, I
what I've
like
been like
that.
seeing fashion as more so because I'm very new to fashion. I don't think I know too much, but that makes me also like super curious. But the pieces and stuff that I purchase are because it reminds me of certain people and what they do or like certain conversations that I've had and what that held to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, so you're new to the fashion stuff, and this is a good transition because I want to go into more of your career stuff. And so you're new to the fashion stuff, but you have done a lot of fashion shoots, right? You've worked with models, you've been in the industry, and honestly, it's like for a lot of people that are starting in photography, you're kind of living the dream almost, really. And so like, and I'd be curious to know like how did that how did you end up shooting models and how did you end up where you are now? Was it with Dark Side of the Moon, which is that collective, creative collective that you
Yeah.
were talking about? And if it was like, can you explain to my audience what Dark Side of the Moon was and how you got your start in fashion?
So Dark Side of the Moon is a creative collective from the Bay Area. One of their co-founders, John Accioli, was also a co-founder of Fame, and he was my connection into production in general, and like the fashion world and beauty. And from him, that's kind of like where I met people like Alex Balzan, EJ Casabar, James Urao, Mark Sebastian, Alex Vo, a whole lot of other individuals, right? Hockey, where I got to learn more about different cultures, and fashion was one of them. I started helping him out as just like a free PA or production assistant
Hmm.
on his shoots at Toby, Shop Toby, Tobi. I remember a lot of girls in like high school, my high school, while I was a senior, they got their prom dresses from that store. And I was just like, whoa, this is cool. Sick. I can, I could,
Sick.
yeah, this is kind of recognizable. Nice. Sick. Yeah. So like he kind of, he let me help him on like a few shoots with the rest of the guys, and then they ended up opening up a studio called Hanger X out in
I remember
Milpitas.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of just kept coming in and bothering them or like asking questions, helping them out on shoots. They ended up giving me like an area where I could like work. And I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah. I didn't think too much of it. Right. And then they started like getting me on gigs, like paid. And from there, it was kind of just within our different conversations of how, what it is to like photograph or be a photographer or a director or a lighting tech or gaffer, and how to play around with the light. My curiosity sparked, and they provided an environment for me to just like explore within that, which I think was key into getting into this industry. And as far as getting into fashion or beauty or other types of products and other types of photography, I think it just came back into like my interests with dance and like hip hop or like funk, and just growing up around like a bunch of skaters, to be honest, right? Like
Yeah.
there are so many brands that like I think I've just like seen but have never really paid attention to growing up, because like one, I didn't skate, but I was always around them. And dancing or like breaking, for example, and skating, I feel like there are so many things that lay parallel between the two communities.
Very, very similar communities.
Yeah. And I think my curiosity with streetwear linked to that past history of like dance has just kind of just kept me within that realm, either as like a photo assistant or a digitech doing free work or doing paid work, you know. It all comes kind of hand in hand. And then you kind of see like who's there to try to help build you out and who's there genuinely wanting to see you grow. And luckily there were some people that saw that in me and gave me certain opportunities. And I think, I don't know if this is like imposter syndrome of like not believing my abilities at the standing, but I am very grateful for like those opportunities of to like explore and see if this is even just like a realm that I continuously want to be curious and document.
Yeah, I mean, what you're doing with your photography too is so dope. I'm just seeing you putting out your more recent work, and sounds like it goes back to the community thing, right? Like it's all these people from different parts of your community that have lifted you up and given you all these opportunities. Dark Side of the Moon sounds like was one of those communities that was just so supportive as a collective to give you these opportunities. And when I think about kind of like the new person trying to break in right into the fashion industry or whatever, it doesn't even have to be like full time. Like they just want to work with models or agencies.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about your experience, like what advice can you give to them that want to try and tap into this world?
Oh man, dude, just shoot and like understand that you're there to shoot because you like it. You're there to shoot because you're curious and you want to try things out. One of my photography mentors, like Mark Chua.
Shout out Mark. Yep.
Shout out Mark, dude. Shout out Mark. Yeah, that was like one of the things that like always sticks with me. He shoots all the time, and that's not even his main thing. He has his own like 9 to 5. He has a family, and I think that is already a whole lot to take in. And he photographs and does these shoots because he enjoys it. He enjoys these like stories. He shoots because he likes to shoot. Like I hope to continue to feel that way throughout my career. I know that there are like other like bumps in the road where like I don't feel as passionate in that sense. But yeah, I think for myself, like the best advice was always just be curious and shoot and try it out. And if it looks great, cool. If it doesn't, dope, you know? Explore and see what you're excited about. Because if you just think about, if you're constantly questioning and thinking about like, oh, maybe I will be excited about this. Maybe this is something that like I really want to photograph, but you never do it because you're just constantly planning and constantly doing that like pre-production or like trying to build out that art direction or creative direction. It's gonna get stuck in like the ether, and then like it's just never gonna happen. You just gotta go with that momentum, flow through it, and I think that's what's definitely helped. For me, I don't like reaching out to people, but then I'll get spurts. Like as like an introvert, I get spurts of where I want to be, where I get this energy and excitement to create. And a lot of the times, like it's kind of bad, but like when I was driving back and forth between the Bay and LA, that long drive, I'd have this. Those would be like my brainstorming sessions.
Mm.
And then once I got the energy to, I would start like emailing agencies, and I'd just be like, "Hey, trying to shoot. Here's the mood board. If there are any new faces that need updates to their book, would love to shoot with them. Please send me a package." And yeah, it's I would send a message, and then the rest of the 3 hours, I would think about like, "Oh, dude, how was that copy? Was did I word everything nicely? Did I sound professional?
Yeah, you start to
Man,
question it.
yeah, yeah." But it's really just like getting those spurts of like inspiration that helped me out, and then getting the spurt of energy to reach out to people.
How does someone that's like super new to the industry find a dark side of the moon? How do you find those people that can support you to help you find those gigs? Do you feel like you just got lucky maybe?
I think I did. I think I did get really lucky, but there are a thousand other like routes and journeys that can get you to like the same goal or to like the same point. And I think a huge point of that is just talking and meeting people. I hate the word networking, but
I
like
wouldn't use
building
that either.
relationships, yeah,
Building
but like
communities,
building
right?
relationships, yeah, and communities. I think that's like a huge that's a huge point of it. And understanding where your intents are when you come into like those conversations. Because again, like people can tell if you're just trying to get into it just to get into it versus like, hey, I'm actually like curious.
Yeah, curious, enjoying the time with you and just being a kind
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people will appreciate those types of interactions with that feel very authentic, and hopefully they'll also want to help you grow. And if not, man, you write your own destiny, dude. Like you want to do something when you have the energy to reach out, do it, and then put your phone down so you don't think about it. It's like texting. It's like texting
Your
somebody you're
crush or something.
interested in. Yeah, it's like texting somebody you're interested in, and then you're just like, this is kind of flirty. Press send down. Cool. Do something else. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing for me when I like reach out to like agencies when I was starting off to go set up like test shoots or things like that. As great or as lucky as I am to have like a DSOTM or paperclip media to kind of help me out with gigs and figuring out where I want to be visually as like an artist. I think I think their guidance was one point, but if you're not willing to like take those risks and make mistakes and fuck up, dude, like you're gonna just be stuck, and you're gonna have the same curiosities, you're gonna have the same questions of like, man, is this something that I was like actually interested in, or is it because I saw it trending on Tumblr or
Yeah,
Instagram,
Instagram or something.
Zanga? You know what I'm saying? Let's
Yeah,
just go further
Zanga.
back, dude.
That's
Yeah,
that's as far as I got. I wouldn't use anything
yeah,
before that.
yeah. Nah, dude. Yeah, I think you really just got to give. for me, I knew that I just had to give myself like a chance in terms of like exploring these like things, or else like I really wouldn't know if I wanted to photograph this style or not.
So when you like an agency or a model, when you say just to do it, are you saying just shoot a DM, shoot your shot, send them
Yeah,
your
you should.
portfolio?
Yeah,
How does that work in the industry?
cold.
I'm not sure how that works. Should you have a portfolio set up first, or do you think you should just tell them that you want to work with them?
I mean, a portfolio definitely helps, right? And but you can build out your portfolio with photographing your friends. It's
Yeah, test shoots.
yeah, there's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of go about it. I think for me, the main thing is like, hey, do I have a vision? Do I have an idea before I reach out for like a test shoot? And then is there are there things within this test shoot that I'm thinking of that'll also benefit the makeup artist, this wardrobe stylist, the model? That way they would want to, that way it's not just self-serving or
Yeah,
things like that for my own book and for my own portfolio, but it helps out the rest of the community that I'm working with. And honestly, it's freaking scary to just like randomly like reach out
yeah, group some people
to
together.
strangers. Yeah, especially like, man, you also have to make sure that the type of verbiage that you utilize is something that feels safe and welcoming. And throughout that conversation before the shoot, like you have to make sure that you do things that allow people to feel comfortable, especially if you're not going like through like an agency. Honestly, with through an agency, it's really easy. It's like,
Yeah, it
hey,
seems
this is my
pretty
mood board.
straightforward.
This is my mood board. Send me a package. Great. This person works. Are they available this time? Cool. Blah blah. And then you can do like some like bedside manner or like make sure that they feel comfortable. But if you're reaching out to them through like a DM or some other like social media platform, for me as a photographer, I've always tried to make sure like how can I provide a safe, fun environment that they can expect? What are things that I can do to kind of ease any stress? Because like, dude, we're all strangers, man. Like,
Yeah,
also for me, I don't know if they're the person that's on their IG, right? Like, they could definitely be a different vibe than they present or curate on their Instagram, which is totally fine. But yeah, that's why you kind of like have these conversations prior.
yeah. No, I think that's super important. Even when I do my shoots, like for my couples, or even if I do just like an engagement shoot, or if I'm going to shoot with a model, I like to have a conversation with them before actually going to the shoot. What does that look like? Whether that's a 10-minute call before, right, or is that maybe getting coffee, right? It doesn't have to be about the photo shoot the whole time. Like you gotta feel their vibe, gotta be used to the way they communicate, the way they act, and then when you go into the shoot, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, and honestly, like you can tell in the model's eyes throughout the photographs
Yeah.
if they feel comfortable or not, if the space that they were in, even if lighting is crap or certain things on the photo side are not the best. The first thing that I'll probably look at is the model comfortable, and you can
Mm.
see it in like their positioning and their eyes, their body language. If they're not, I'm gonna completely disregard everything else and say like, oh, I don't feel it, you know?
Are you saying that, or are you just is that inner monologue? Like what do you like when you say you're not feeling it? You're not telling them that, are you? Or are you?
No, I'm not telling that. No, no, I'm
Okay.
saying like when I'm looking at other images, right?
Okay, got it.
It's maybe like, oh, dude, you can tell if a model feels uncomfortable with whoever's photographing them
Oh, this is
through,
post when you're
yeah, this is post, right? Like this isn't even like me photographing them. When I'm photographing them and I see those uncertain eyes or like uncertain like body language within an image, you gotta find ways to either like make them feel comfortable and give them an environment where they can explore and open up and have fun. Yeah, I think what I was saying before is that like you can tell through like a model's eyes how the photographer was probably speaking to them and giving them feedback, and if they liked it or not, or if the way that were communicating felt were was very was it uncomfortable.
mm, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I feel like you can see that too, like when you shoot when you photograph like your couples, right? Like you're just like, oh man, the direction that I gave was probably did not
Yeah,
give
there'll be
them
like
a more
some
genuine emotion.
poses. Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't really like fit their personality, or does the
Hmm.
pose wasn't like it doesn't say who they are. But I always tell
Yeah.
myself when I'm shooting a couple or even like a portrait, I'm constant like I'm coaching them. Right? I always want to
Yeah.
make them let them know I'm on their side. And it's like
Hmm.
they're always gonna win either way. Whether it's a bad shot is on me.
Yeah.
Like that.
And as an artist, like you kind of have to be humble in that sense, right? Like you have to understand, like, dude, these photos are not for me. When
Exactly.
I photograph fashion, like this photo is not for me. These images are not for me. I'm here to serve and execute a purpose, but within my style, that still serves the purpose of like showing these clothes, or showing these fits, or showing the extent of the different characters that like a model can be for like model development and like portfolio work. Right?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think about when we did that shoot for Han for Scope.
Mm.
We all got together.
Yeah.
You had us get together for the studio shoot, and we worked with a ton of models, and we did some video as well. And like I feel like you just kind of own the room there. Like you're very chill. And how do you like when you're working with a team like that? How do you keep that? How do you like keep everyone calm and chill and just make sure everyone's comfortable?
I mean, I think for that shoot in particular, it was easy because I kind of knew majority of people from different worlds, like you,
Mm,
David,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
Even Sandy. I didn't know the models, but like I knew what they were interested in. You kind of get like this. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think that comes from like a producer end, just trying to be empathic towards who you're working with, and then understanding how they're feeling, especially if they're not comfortable in front of a camera or they've
Yeah,
never
like new models.
been in an environment like this, right? Because all of those were just like friends, which is cool. But there's like a different way that you need to direct that side versus like the type of verbiage that you're going to be giving agency sign models or people that are within like the fashion space or e-commerce and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's really just under reading the room, and again, it's not about me at that shoot, right? It was about Han, and it was about also making sure that the rest of the crew felt comfortable. Either it's the models, Sandy, Joyce, you and David. I wanted to make sure that you guys for sure felt confident in like the visuals that you guys were capturing. So what are ways that I can do to, or what are the things that I could do to make sure our team feels good and remembers the day well? And then I know our skill levels. Our skill levels, we're going to be able to execute regardless. So it's
Right.
just like all about the feeling. And then dance. You know what I'm saying?
We did
Sorry.
dance quite a bit. I will say that.
Yeah, we did.
A
We
little bit
did.
of
But yeah, I think that's what I get a lot from, or that's what I learned a whole lot from like DSOTM, is that these
similar approach.
shoots, yeah, these productions, even if I'm directing or whatever my role is, it's not self. It should not be self-serving. It's very much like, hey, regardless of what type of personality I am or feel today, what type of personality does my team need for me to be today for us to execute at a certain level? And then afterwards, yeah, I can be like 100% me, but what is it that like our team or crew needs? And then kind of
But
just like
yeah,
mesh into like that for like a bit.
you got to be very selfless in the beginning, huh?
Yeah, and I mean like it's cool, and I think it still just goes into like, okay, how am I going to be able to provide an environment that's going to allow people to feel confident and be themselves and like what they're doing?
No, I love that. And I think once you put others first and you put yourself first, you've worked with brands, you've worked with models and different agencies and stuff. How do you create work that not only aligns with the client but aligns with your vision? Because that's also important, right? Is getting hired to have for your eye. And so how can you
Yeah,
align the two?
I think that's really where like pitching goes into too. You get to present your idea or like the story or narrative that you really want to tell, and find a way that you can finagle it into what they need. For example, for me, I think what I've been enjoying recently is a lot of movement and interactions.
I'm noticing that. Yeah, a lot of kind of like action style like movement with the
Yeah,
b-boy stuff.
like I want things to feel almost like intrusive with like my photography, even if it comes into like the commercial space, right? And it's figuring out how will I like this image with the limitations that say like this brand provides or the need provides. How can I showcase a left chest hit of like a logo on like the left chest of like a shirt, but show that clearly, but also still like, hey man, I've been really exploring like motion blurs. What am I gonna do with that? Okay, it's gonna be my lighting design and figuring out a way that I can be excited about an image with highlighting what's important about the products. Yeah, that was a whole lot of jumbling of the same thing because I don't know how else to say it, man. Yeah, I mean, like in my head, I feel like there's a whole lot of ego that needs to be tamed in order to get these gigs, right? But overall, you're getting hired for your personality and your creative eye, what you like. You're not going to be able to leave a shoot unless you're happy with images and the direction. And through pitching and giving these presentations of what these clients can expect, you can see if they're around like the same realm and wanting to explore the same concepts that you want to do or the same stories that you want to do. Right. And then from there, you can pick and choose, like, or hopefully you can pick and choose, like, hey, is this somebody that I want to be working with? Or is this somebody that, like, hey, yeah, no, like, I think the vision or the direction that you guys want to go with in terms of like your brand, maybe that doesn't fit me. So let me hand it off to a homie that I also think like works really well, you know? And then, hey, I'll assist that homie. Great, amazing. Now we're all kind of getting
Win-win.
fed. Yeah,
Yeah.
win-win. Yeah. There's a good amount of balance of like how much ego can play in the work that I do and how I can get into there. And I think a lot of it is just finding the right people to work with. For example, like my stuff with like the whole dance thing, I'm not gonna immediately pitch that out to certain brands because one, I don't have things to present. Like I can do it and I can execute it.
Yeah.
Two, it's like a relationship thing. I have to understand, or yeah, I have to understand that in order for them to trust me with my own vision, I have to prove to them like, oh, I'm not just doing this for me. It's also because I think it's going to be great and add value to yourself and your brand. I'm not just going to make this look cool so that it just works for my book or my portfolio, but because I think with your audience right now and what's going on within the world and what's trending or what's being talked about in mainstream media and the stories, like
Yeah, it fits right in.
I think this is going to resonate with your audience, blah blah blah. Right, so yeah, I think it's a whole dance.
At the end of the day, it is dance.
Back in the day. Yeah, I know it's a dance. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right, like let's say that you're gonna work with, let's say if you work with like Lacoste or something, right,
Yeah,
and then I know there's been a lot of like b-boys that have been wearing Lacoste. I think there's like sponsorships and stuff that fits right in, right? Especially since you're doing like the movement stuff, like what you did with Elephant Graveyard, right? You can,
yeah,
you do a Lacoste shoe with that style. I mean, it's just not watching, kind of like what you said, expressing interest on both sides.
yeah. Again, it's a whole like at least for me, it's an internal like discussion about my ego and what I think, checking myself like, hey, am I doing this for strictly for myself or like am I keeping the brand in mind? Am I or if I'm the supporting role, am I lighting this because like this is what I want to play with? Or is this
Yeah,
because like this is what like my photographer wants to or how my photographer wants to work, you know? Or how his image wants to be.
checking your ego. I like that. I think, and that's so important, especially because artists, it's such a personal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start working with other people with other visions, it's like you gotta check your ego before you start to work in teams. ego is such a big thing with artists because it's such a personal thing, right? And you got to check that before you start working with other teams, because otherwise you're going to be doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, agreed. And then it becomes less about the community.
This community thing, man.
I
I
don't
hope
know.
everyone's getting this right now. This is the overarching arch right here, man.
Like, man, it's dope to eat, but like if I'm not having dinner with my friends, like, is that really fun? Nah, not really.
Yeah. In-N-Out's cool by itself.
Exactly.
I'd rather eat it with homies.
But also, I have the social anxiety of experiencing certain things by myself, like going out to dinner or lunch by myself. That's tough for me. Actually, no, it's not. Going to the movies by myself, though, that's tough.
Oh, interesting. I know people that love going to the movies by themselves.
It is.
Is
But
that
the
hard
thing
for you?
is, like, when I'm with somebody to watch a movie, I almost like pretending like I'm by myself. Like, I don't want. None of us
Oh.
are gonna really talk. Maybe we'll like make a few like snarky remarks, but dude, if you're trying to talk about like, like
Yeah.
a conversation throughout it, man, we're not even watching the movie, dude. Like, we got.
Actually, that's true. I like the company, but I'd rather like make the movie for like personal for myself.
And
I wanna
then,
enjoy
and then
it,
talk
like,
about it afterwards,
myself.
you know? But like throughout it, like let me think about my thoughts. Let me
Exactly.
create my own things. But yeah, again, overall,
Opinions.
I think for me has always just been like, man, if I'm not with my community, even if I'm like I'm growing and I'm doing some sort of like milestones, it's not very much worth it for me. I think like
Yeah.
it's really just like, man, all of us. I want all of us to be fed in that sense, and if I can't enjoy certain winnings without the people that matter most or like my community, I didn't win, dude.
It's like a half W.
Yeah, like a V.
Right. It's like
A V, and then
It's just a
like
V
it's
with
this,
like-
and then it's like this. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like
becomes an L. Yeah.
it's a 90-degree angle tilt.
So what you do then is you hold that L, and then you find other people holding L's, and then it becomes a
Dang,
W.
dude.
See
I
that?
wish it was like more of like this, and then like this, and then like this. Oh, man.
Wow, and then it becomes love. That's crazy. I thought you don't use that word. It's just
Yeah,
this.
that is a weird way to make a heart, dude. Yeah, I should not
that
do
is
that.
philosophy right there.
I don't like the way that heart looks.
Yeah, that was kind of
a little bit, dude.
that heart had problems. One of our homies wanted me to ask you this question, but is there a type of photography that you haven't explored yet that you want to try?
Oh, dude, street photography, like intrusive street photography.
Ooh, what's that Japanese
This is
guy's
really
name
bad
that does
because I
that
don't know
really
any
well?
of the photographers' names, but there's legit like a few photographers that will, like, I've seen old clips of them. They got a speed light or like a flash, like handheld, and they will go into people's faces and just like take a quick photo, right? And like you see the like people's disgust.
I've seen
within
that.
it. Or like you see their their
the
distress,
distress.
and like their energy. And to me, that shit is like insane, dude. Like that stuff is cool. Another photographer, his old clips have been like going around the ether on TikTok. See, this is why I wish I like knew these names. But like he would like fumble his like camera, pretend like he doesn't know how to use it, until people, I guess, don't realize that he's about to take a photo. Yeah, so that they can go back into like their own worlds, and then those are the stories or like narratives that they capture, or that he captures, which is super cool. Yeah, and I try to, I think I appreciate that stuff a whole lot, but I get very nervous when I'm like walking around with like a camera, and I think that's why I really like the Konica Kompai. because it like
there you go.
forces people to have a certain energy and like act stupid in front of the camera for like the shutter to go. At least that's how I like direct people, right? Yeah, that stuff is super fun. But all the photography that I'm doing right now is also stuff that like I'm super curious about when it comes to like streetwear and like fashion, understanding skate culture and documenting that through fashion, break-in culture, and like mixing in the worlds of like studio that I understand or that I've been my journey of understanding has been primarily through that and figuring out how I want to mix that with hip hop or like movement. Who asked that? No.
Can you guess?
Dang.
I'll tell you afterwards. I have a few more things for you. Okay, well, this is the Millennial Method podcast,
Yeah.
so we have to talk about being a millennial. Are you in your 30s now?
29, turning 30.
Oh, damn, it's going to be the big year.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be turning 30?
I think it's cool. Yeah. I don't feel 30. I still feel very young. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I think that's cool. The past few years, I don't think I've been very much about like celebrating, but I think I want to celebrate it.
A little
This
change.
past
yeah?
week, I've been thinking about like, oh, dude, I think it would be fun to actually do something with the community. Oh, shit.
Damn, the C word, man. Keeps
Dude.
coming back.
I'm saying, yeah,
Are you going to do it in the Bay?
I kind of want to.
Hey, come back, bro. I'm there.
Sick.
Send me a date.
No, dude. Send you a date? Dude, her name
Mhm.
is, you know.
I
You do know.
don't actually. No, I don't. Oh, I thought your dates.
No, I said,
I know
no,
my
yeah,
date.
you said send me a date. So I was like, hey, yeah, I got you your date.
Oh, no.
I was like, hold on. Wait.
Gotcha.
Bad joke.
It's like, wait, you sure you don't know?
Bad joke. But yeah.
Oh, gosh, Miles. Tito.
Tito Miles, dude. Oh, you have your own brain. Yeah, dude.
You should, man. 30's a big one. You should.
Are you doing anything? What are you gonna do?
I want to too. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'll let you know though
Yeah,
for
let me
sure.
know, dude.
I want to have like you said, community, right?
Dude, you got 2 months, bro.
It'll be a big thing. We'll see.
You got 2 months.
How many months do you
I
have?
don't know. Who knows?
You don't know.
Yeah.
When's your
I
birthday?
don't know. I'm still making the decision if I want to celebrate it. So, like, I'm still not going to tell anybody.
Wow. Well, I know who I can ask. So
Who? Nobody knows. No.
yeah, there's a few people that know your birthday. We know a lot of people that know both of us. I have a lot of people I can ask.
Yeah, that's crazy. About deny everything. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess it's cool. I don't really think about it. I still feel very like young and explorative. I feel bad that my parents like think, or I mean, you think about like your immigrant parents and you're just like, man, they started to have kids at like under 25 or 24. And I'm just out here like figuring out my
That's
life.
how it
dude.
was.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, I think that's the main thing. I wish that I had things solidified, but with the more that I like think about like myself or like my personality and the rest of like my surroundings, there's so much more that I want to like learn and do. So like I feel ignorant to things, and I think that's great because that's just like my curiosity, just wanting to like explore. You know what I'm saying? What if I'm a nomad,
I do know what
dude?
you're
What
saying.
if like at 30 I just unannounced, hey guys,
just drop everything. Yeah.
goodbye. I'm going to Mars.
Hey! Now, don't joke
Oh.
about that.
Like going to Mars?
Stick around,
Oh.
homie.
Oh, like I was like nomad, like go to Mars, like
Go to Mars.
yeah, like dude, that would be crazy.
Well, first Elon's got to make that happen. I don't know when that will be.
Hey man, Bay Area.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, did you think you'd have this career where you're at right now?
Nah, dude.
Where did you think you would be? You were like maybe 5 years ago or something.
Actually, 5 years ago, yeah.
10 years ago.
Nah, I think I would have been in Medfield and like rehab. Yeah,
You think you'd be in rehab?
like in Medfield rehabilitation, like physical therapy, dude.
Okay, got it. So I got that totally. That
Yeah, maybe I should have said
that
it
was
better.
totally
dude.
another.
Yeah. But
okay, yeah. So you imagined yourself to be in the like PT rehab
world, yeah.
role 10 years ago.
And I think like within like the creative space, a while ago, I think I would have just like thought that I was constantly like in dance or providing a space, like maybe like building out a studio for like dancers within like the East Side community.
Yeah.
Or when I wanted to get into like physical therapy, my main thing was, oh dude, how can I serve the hip hop community or like dancers with this career like path?
Isn't there like a group in SoCal that does that?
Yeah, there is.
Like med something.
Off med,
I
offset.
forget. I always see them at
Offset
events.
med. Yeah,
Offset.
yeah.
Med,
I think they're always at like Red Bull events and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's so dope.
And there's like this other physiotherapy or like PT collective called Myo Detox. I used to follow them like when I was in undergrad, and I was like, dude, if I could have a PT clinic or business, it would be modeled like this. Yeah, it was super cool, and even like the name to me was like super dope. So I was just like, man, myo as in like muscle or like tissue, and then detox. So it's like detox for the body, like 3D muscles and shit, which I think was like a super dope like name, man. I was just like, shoot,
Mayo Clinic, good.
Yeah, not Mayo Clinic, Myo Detox, but Mayo Clinic. I use that a lot for like my research papers.
Oh, is that an actual thing?
Yeah, it's an actual thing. It's like a database of like articles and stuff.
Shout out Mayo Clinic.
Dude, I don't even know how to pronounce it, man.
I just think of mayonnaise. It's not my field. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't eat much mayonnaise.
I mean, okay, so let's think about the present now. You do all these things, right? What makes you happiest these days?
Eating with friends, shenanigans with friends, shenanigans on set with friends. You know, yeah. Even if it was like my dream job or like my dream shoot, I don't think I would have as much fun unless it was with friends. And like the people that I've kind of gotten to know within like this industry or space, you know. Community. Oh my god.
I'm gonna create like a GIF or a video that just says community with rainbow colors.
Like this, like SpongeBob. Right. It's like community.
Like this, yeah, exactly.
Imagination.
I'm gonna do some like AI thing where SpongeBob goes like this, and it says community.
That's sick, dude. Send it to me.
Oh, I'm gonna make it happen.
It's gonna be my profile picture on Labs.
Yeah. All right. I'm on it, boss.
Sick, dude. But yeah, dude, like I think that's what makes me the happiest. It's not the type of project or like what a goal or product or deliverables are. It's how am I doing this with friends? How can I get my friends on it and have a good time?
I love that. And that goes back to the longevity thing that you're talking about too. It's so easy to finish a project or two and then feel empty.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it with friends, these are friends that you're going to be with for a long time. So
yeah,
why not do work with them?
Where in a sense, like the goal there is not just like, oh, the deliverable. The goal there is just like, hey, how can I help put this person in like the best light? Or how can we put each other in a very comfortable environment and be super happy and ocho or like play music and dance on set. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And then treat each other to
exactly
like really good meals and great food.
I've been like, any extra money I can get, I try to like if it's not like like a steak or something, I'll try to treat out the homies.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Business expense.
Always
know what I'm
nice.
saying?
LLC boys and girls. Well, I got one more question for you. If 2 is 1, then what is 5?
Shit. 5 is prepared. Well, why'd you ask for 2 is 1?
Wait, what?
Why'd you ask 2 is 1?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if 2 is 1, then what is 5?
I don't know. But 8 plus 8 or 8 and 8. It's ocho, dude. I'm saying, dude.
I don't know if you got that last question.
I don't.
Someone asked me to ask you that.
Really? Yeah, who asked you?
Did you forget this? Zara? Oh, bro.
What?
Come on, guess. Can you guess who it is?
Said Zara?
Huh? Zara.
Smishua? Or Jin?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know, man. I see random stuff to so many people.
I don't know what the reference is to that. They just told me to ask you that.
So 2 is
I don't know
1.
if you got
2 is 1 is like John Akioli has a brand. It's very like tactical about like the whole like tactical space, right? And 2 is 1 is
Okay.
like a saying that if you only have one of one thing, you're not prepared. So say
That's a good army thing.
yeah, right? And like coming from like a military like family, at least like my parents, right? It was always like important to be over prepared and over ready. So like 2 is 1, you know what I'm saying? Smooth is fast. That's another one I learned. Yeah.
Damn, we're dropping some bangers now.
Yeah, man. You know, like
Okay.
if you know where things are, you can move smoothly. Hey, I'm gonna get my speaker right here. Wow, that's fast. Versus, where's my big? That was too animated. Sorry, that was a lot of energy. But yeah, 2 is 1, 5 is what?
2 is 1, 5 is what?
I don't know.
I totally
dude.
missed
Yeah,
that.
I also missed it. 2 is 1, 5. Dang, dude. My shoe.
I don't have an answer to that question.
Dude,
I'm
to be honest, me neither.
just giving it to you.
I mean, like
Okay.
2 is 1,
Well-
3 is 2.
3 is 2. Okay. I'm gonna stop you there.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
I'm getting lost in the
Me
sauce.
too, man.
Sorry, Maishwa. Well, this is probably the longest podcast I've ever done, and I love it because I got to catch up with you, and it's good seeing you, bro.
Likewise, man. I'm sorry it took so long, bro.
Nah, dude, I am so excited to publish this. No, don't even apologize, bro. I'm happy that we
There's
got
a lot of there's to all your viewers out there. There's a lot of like that, dude.
We'll probably have to cut it a little bit.
You'll have to
but
cut a
I'm gonna
lot,
leave most
dude.
of
I'm
it there.
sorry, man.
Nah, bro. No, you're good. Just know that we have a lot of homies that'll enjoy this. So
I'm worried.
don't be. I will not do you wrong.
Hey, man, you can.
Hopefully.
Actually, you should roast me for like a good 5 minutes or something.
I am not good at that. You should know that by now. I'm not the best roaster.
Really? You don't cook?
I'm too nice. Anyways.
All right, bro.
God damn it. Well, it's good seeing you, bro. And I'll catch you when I'm in LA, and let me know when you're in the Bay. Community.
Hey,
Community, right? Dirty 30?
fire emoji. Laps. Add me
Fire
on
emoji.
Laps, dude. Add me on Laps.
You heard it first. He
Only
got
if
the
I know
invites.
you guys still.
All right, brother. See you later. Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe. We're on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. That's where we host these episodes. As always, I truly appreciate you listening to my voice and this podcast. And I hope you have a happy and healthy and wealthy life. I'll see you at the next one.